For more on the retail moves, though, I want to dig into that because it's rare that we've seen some of these names in the green. And now we're being joined by Vera Gibbons, Willow's personal finance analyst, joins us now. And I mean, when we look into this, Vera, it's kind of shocking to see the rebound in terms of the numbers. Granted, we already were dealing with record plunges in terms of retail during the shutdown. But sales at clothing stores rising 188% from the prior month. Furniture sales jumping about 90%. What's your take on how this could prove to show support for the idea that a V-shaped recovery is indeed what we should be expecting?
You know, you mentioned the clothing sales. I mean, that's just a phenomenal jump. That one stands out in my mind because I think consumers have really missed feeling and touching clothes and trying on shoes and touching purses. So the demand is there. I mean, what happened was economies opened up. People went back to work. They're feeling confident. They're spending, and the market's rejoicing.
Yeah, my question to you would be, I mean, when we look at the trends on some of these things, we did highlight that e-commerce stores still, of course, that was a trend in retail way before this pandemic, but now we're seeing the surge there continue. Well, retail sales in terms of apparel did come back, and we noted a big jump, but coming back from almost nothing is going to result in a big jump. But what's your take on how it might accelerate that underlying trend in shifting to retailers that already had a strong e-com presence, and how that might even be a bigger theme in 2020 and then 2021?
You know, that's interesting because, everyone's been talking about e-commerce, how we're all doing that. This pandemic has changed our shopping habits. We're going online for everything. Amazon, Target, Walmart, the primary beneficiaries. I think what's interesting to see that people really do want to go back to the bricks and mortar. No one's really talking about this. They've been saying, oh, the malls are dead, Sears is dead, JCPenney is dead, the big department stores are dead. But look at Macy's. Those numbers were ridiculously unexpected. So there is some pent-up demand. I think people are feeling pretty good about things. But the big question mark going forward, the job gains that we've seen, is that sustainable? The retail sales that we just experienced now, is that sustainable? Is it just a blip? So there's a lot of underlying questions going forward. Is there going to be a second wave, a third wave? What about a policy? If there's a mess up there in policy that could derail things altogether. So for now, it's very nice to see that we're headed in this positive trajectory. And, you do have some economists, saying that the worst is over. March, April, May, bad. And now, we're looking pretty good. So, there's a lot of talk now that going forward, things are going to continue in this upward swing. And we will see that aforementioned V-shaped recovery that you mentioned.
Yeah, when we talk about that surge and the demand there to return to some of these in-person stores, we have seen that in terms of the shift in surveys looking at Americans' propensity to go back to these places. Noticeably, the change has mostly been highest in planes and travel, cruise ships even. But when you look at malls, kind of muted in the way that they're saying it might take a little bit longer for them to go back to malls. Off-mall stores enjoying a little bit more sentiment there.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're saying people are going back to the malls, but I've done my little research down here, and I went to a mall down here, and it was packed. I couldn't even find a parking spot. So I don't know. I know malls are reinventing themselves. They're getting new types of tenants in there. They're mixing things up. Some of the stores are probably never coming back. Some of the makeup stores aren't even open yet, like the Sephora's or the Macs, but the mall here in Palm Beach was very busy, and Nordstrom Rack. That place, it was actually too crowded to the point where I actually had to leave because I didn't want to wait in line to get my items. Yeah. So, is the mall dead? Yes, in certain areas it is dead, but in certain areas I'd say, I don't know, not so fast.
Yeah, and if it's Florida, we always got to talk about the rising case count there as well. Keep our eyes on those. But Vera Gibbons, appreciate you taking the time to chat retail with us today.
Thanks so much.